I want to talk to you about something that came through so powerfully recently, and it's this: your pattern is not the enemy. You know, if you keep judging yourself for overthinking, for people pleasing, for being too controlling, for shutting down, for procrastination, um, for pulling away when you think that something good is going to start to happen, or if you get anxious when life feels like it's beginning to open, you know, these patterns are not proof that you're broken. They're they're not proof that you're failing. They're not proof that you're not spiritual enough, or not healed enough, or not conscious enough, or not evolved enough. Most of the time, the patterns are old survival strategies. You know, it's something that our nervous system learned at some point to keep us safe, to keep us connected, to keep us protected or in control. And the problem isn't that the pattern exists. The problem is our relationship to the pattern. You know, the deeper problem really is because the moment that the pattern shows up, we begin to I thought I healed this, right? Why am I still doing this? I should be over this by now. I should know better by now. I've done too much work to be reacting this way, and now, but now we're in the share, and this is what I want to interrupt today. The pattern was once intelligent, right? It's an intelligent adaptation. People pleasing, can be a way of belonging, and control can be a way to protect safety. Overthinking can be a way to keep ourselves from making a mistake. Shutting down could be a way to protect ourselves from overwhelm. These are all adaptations. Procrastination can be a way to protect from being. Perfectionism can protect us from criticism. These are all patterns that were there to protect us. They're patterns that were created, and they had an effect. They were good, but now they're not making us happy. That's really the issue. Now the pattern isn't making us happy, and it's not helping us create the life that we want. It does not mean that it was meaningless. It does not mean that it was wrong. It does not mean that it's a defect. It's just a little outdated. Right? Hi, Susan. Hi, Dorota. So good to see you both. Thank you for being here. More importantly, it means that we generalize something, and that's very different than saying that something's wrong with me. And this of unbecoming. Unbecoming is a book that I'm running. It's about, well, it's not about becoming a better version of yourself. That's for sure. Because of myself is just coded language for there's something wrong with me and I need to fix it. Sometimes even that becomes a part of you that learned how to protect yourself. And this is really about meeting yourself with enough compassion that you can choose to go a different way. Now, the body responds to a feeling tone, right? Why do these patterns keep coming up? Why do we keep having them? Because the body responds to a feeling tone. And this phrase comes from Carl Jung, and he talked about autonomous feeling tone complexes. Now, that's a fancy language, but let's just make it simple. Sometimes a feeling comes online in the body, and before you can even think about it, the whole pattern takes over, right? That's a feeling tone. It's an instinct, evolutionary. It's part of our evolution, right? But like that feeling tone, something appears: fear, shame, rejection, urgency, loneliness, unworthiness, being seen, not being seen, being misunderstood, being controlled, being trapped. One of these feelings come up, and suddenly you're not responding to the moment. You're responding to every moment that ever felt like this moment. And sometimes it feels like we could look at ourselves and be like, what are you doing? Don't say that. Oh my God, you just said that. I said, don't say that. Oh my God, you did it again. Like, have you ever felt that? Like it's like you're watching yourself do exactly you don't want your. That's the that is why this can feel so big, right? Because we're responding to something that happened in the past. You remember those old plasma TVs that this was an example from Michael Singer, and I loved it. He talked about plasma TVs that were like really thick, and they were the first like flat screen. But if you paused the movie too long, the image would burn on the screen, and then like the next day you're watching the news through the image of the Superman coming through the screen. That's like our consciousness, right? We come in this blank screen, and then Melanie Klein, who was a psychoanalyst, Austria, very influential, did a lot of work on child play and free play. And she noticed that what she called the split, which is different than rythmia's split, what she called the split was when we split things into good and bad. It actually has some overlay with rythmia, but her idea is the child sees good or bad, and it's really clear. If you have children, things are real black and white. There's no gray area, right? Good is pleasurable, bad is painful. Things are really clear. Now, normally we're getting good pleasure from our caregiver, hopefully, love, support, comfort, safety. And if that love, support, comfort, safety becomes inconsistent, shaky in some way, or if, let's say, you get punished or something, you do something and there's a reactable. Well, the child doesn't think, oh, maybe my caregiver is overwhelmed right now, or they don't really have the capacity to process this, and they're just projecting on me. No, the child sees the source of good. All of a sudden, pain comes from the source of good. The child doesn't go, well, they're fucked up. The child goes, it must be me. It can't be the good, because the good's always good. Good is good, bad is bad, really clear. Butterfly good, snake bad, pleasure good, pain bad. I can't be them. It's got to be me. This is the beginning. There's something the child takes on in psychological language. It's introjection. They take on the bad. So if it's not to be me, this is the beginning of I'm broken. And then ending to these old patterns, contemporary stimuli responding, these patterns are responding. The nervous system learned a way to respond. Now you might say, why am I acting like this? Why did I react like that? Why no? Why did I shut down? Why did I say that? I didn't mean to say that. These were old survival strategies that were deployed. And says, well, when it died, right? We learn very early a feeling. Something scary happens. Let's say, hopefully you didn't have a violent parent, but let's say you did. And what's going on when you're old enough to remember? You go hide and fall asleep. So when there's danger, I'm going to hide. Later you're at school, he's on the playground, and your nervous system goes hide. So you go to the library, and you might say, oh, I really like reading. But actually your nervous system is responding to, I'm afraid. Same response, the pattern, hide. And then later in life, you see a news story. And the news story, I don't even feel comfortable going outside. You see how we begin to generalize a pattern. How did it happen in childhood? Become a pattern. Well, nervous system learns to generalize it. And the body says, when it feels like this, hide. When it feels like this, be pleasing. When it feels like this, control everything. When it feels like this, get angry. When it feels like this, become perfect. This is the pattern, right? And again, that may have worked at one time, may have felt inconsistent, and people pleasing may have been brilliant in that time, right? Emotions were unsafe and shutting response. But though it's there to help us, and it could have been a great response, but it's not helping us live the life that we want now. These are not broken. They're not flaws. They were adaptations. And what protected you in one season has become in another. And so, this is about the nervous system. This is so much about what we teach at Rhythmia, right? That something is that we had an experience. That experience caused a feeling in our nervous system, that feeling tone. There was a reaction to that, a strategy developed. Then we generalized that strategy and it became embedded. Now, can I notice when this is happening? This is not a spirit, a moral defect. This is how the body gets wired to sometimes good as a threat. Because sometimes we think we're blocking our good because we don't want it. But our soul is saying yes, our prayer is saying yes, our vision is saying yes, but the body is saying, I don't know, can I trust this? Is this safe? What will be required, right? What if I lose? What if people judge me? What if I become too visible? What if I can't handle this much good? This is not resistance in the ordinary sense. This is survival intelligence. And the question I force myself to receive is soften just enough. Can I soften 5%? Not 100%, just 5%. We're not looking total trans. We're not looking for a giant breakthrough. When these patterns come up, we don't have to figure out the source right away. All we need to do is observe the pattern, allow it to move through the system, and then soften. What could I do could I soften my shoulders 5%? Can I unclench my jaw 5%? Can I relax my belly? Can I receive just one offer of support? Can I accept? These are all ways that we can become coherent and receptive. Coherence does not mean perfection. Coherence does not mean that you never get triggered. Coherence does not mean that enough. What it means is enough of you is present to soften and to align so that the good that is constantly seeking simple practice. This is something that you can take with you. We want you to come with me until you get here, something that you can do in real time that will help you. So this is a version of a process called observe, feel, ask, heal. And we're going to make it observe, feel, thank, heal. So you can do this in real time. All you got to do is right now of one pattern that shows up your control, your perfectionism, your people pleasing, your alertness, your hyper independence, one pattern. And when that pattern comes up, first observe. Observe, am I being activated right now? Notice when you shut down. Notice when you start to people please or control or make yourself wrong. Observe, feel it with the feeling in the body. What's going on? Is it tightness in the chest? Is it in my shoulders? Where is it in the body? Locate it in the body. Feel it. These were old patterns that the nervous system developed, and the nervous system needs to calm down. That's all. It needs to be acknowledged. Needs your presence. The pattern isn't the problem. Our relationship to the pattern is the deeper issue. Relationship becomes self-aggression. And the invitation is there's no, there's not, how do I fix this right now? I have to figure this out. No. Can I just soften 5%? Can I just relax 5%? Where is this in my body? And then just notice it. Is it heavy? Is it tight? Is it frozen? Is it small? Is it bumpy? Is it smooth? Get in touch with it. And then thank it, right? So observe, there's the pattern, feel it, let yourself feel it. And then thank it. Thank you. Thank the pattern. Brilliant when you were 5. It was brilliant. You did a great job. Now, not so brilliant, right? So thank it and you let it know. Thank you so much. You don't have to be on high alert all the time. And the fourth thing is heal. Heal does not mean fix yourself. In this one action that will help you soften 5%, that pause for just a moment, that might be to take a breath. It might be to walk outside. It might be to put your feet on the floor. It might be to put your hands on your heart. It might be to send that text. It might be to accept some help, right? What's one action that you can do to soften, to allow your nervous system to calm just a little? Nothing dramatic, nothing aggressive, just gentle. And this works because every time you do it, you're teaching your nervous system that you can choose something new. And this is integration, little by little. This is practice. It's not a one and done. It's something that we over. And each time, a little bit, every little bit that I soften is a little bit more that I can receive. Every little bit that I open is a little bit less friction. A little bit less friction means a little bit more flow. I don't have to force flow. I just need to soften so that it's all being given. Can I receive it? I can't receive anything when I'm closed, but when I'm open, we can begin to receive. Now you have choice. Now the pattern begins to loosen, not because you shamed it, but because you met it, presence, with a little bit of, and you. So today I want to invite you to just work with one pattern, not the biggest pattern ever, just one. And ask that pattern, what is that pattern asking for? What feeling tone is it activating? Remember, observe, feel, thank, heal. The heal is one action you can take to soften right now. Okay, because sometimes 5% is the gateway. It's the doorway for grace to enter, for peace to enter, for joy to enter. Sometimes 5% is it's okay to make a different choice. So I'm so grateful you joined today. Thank you so much. Come back and see us. Come down to Rythmia. Come see us next week. We'll see you then. Peace and blessings. Have a beautiful day.